Hello. I've been on quite a hiatus. I had a lot going on with like family, school, work, everything in between. But I'm back, and to start off, I'm just gonna do an easy little commentary type video while I work on a project. I have 2 projects in here, so we'll see what I end up making. But we're gonna talk a little bit about the online yarn art culture and selling online, buying online, like all of that kind of stuff. So if you're interested in any of that, stick around. I'm going to talk about it. So the first thing that I'll kind of talk about is being online. Of course, being online is a choice. Always. Nobody is forcing you to be online. But once you are online, there's kind of a stigma and a culture in that online community. Oh, not sure what I did there. But it's like hard to really explain. But when you watch people's videos online, they always seem like they're doing more than you. And that can be a very difficult thing, feeling like you're not doing enough. And I feel like this is for anything online, but in general, like watching the amount of things that people crochet during different periods of time can be a little disheartening. I am somebody who crochets generally fast, so I can get a lot done when I have the time. But it makes you feel like you need to make more, I guess, sometimes. And you don't. You should be making whatever makes you happy and whatever you want to make. I only make things that I want to make. I don't make things only because other people are making them, so I feel like I should. I make what I want to make. And that is how I keep my peace and my happiness. But there are a lot of people out there that I think feel pressured to make different things because people online are making them, like crochet cardigans, for example. A lot of people have been making crochet cardigans lately, specifically the hexagon cardigan. I made that cardigan because I thought it was really cute, and I had never made anything big like that before. And I'm so happy that I made it because I absolutely love it, and I can't wait to make myself more of them. But there are people that don't make that kind of stuff, and it's perfectly fine to not make that. If you want to make Ami, then make Ami. If you want to make wearables, make wearables. If you just want to make your random little things that you like, make your random little things that you like. But don't make something only because other people online are making it and you want to fit in. You can fit in wherever you fit in, making what you want to make and being yourself. So I guess my biggest advice on that area is do what makes you happy and don't worry about what everyone else is doing. It's very high school clique behavior, in my opinion. And most of us are grown adults, so we don't need to be acting that way. What's another thing? Ooh, we'll talk about buying and selling next. I have one new leaf on my big vine. We'll see how much I get done by the end of this. On the subject of buying, not so much buying crochet, but buying crochet supplies. Yarn stashes are a big thing. And I am somebody who does have a large yarn stash, so that's honestly just how I've always been. I have family that gift me a lot of stuff once I become interested in something. So I will always have an abundance of whatever I'm working on at the time. But I do have a lot of yarn, and I am trying harder now to use what I have before I buy more. It's really hard sometimes, but I'm doing my best. There are some people, though, that have these ginormous yarn stashes, and it never looks like it gets used. And I always wonder, if you're making all of this stuff and your yarn stash looks untouched, how much yarn do you really have? And that is a whole other thing that I think is an issue for many different subjects and communities. I'm also big in the book community. You can't see it because it's not really in frame that a tiny bit. But I have multiple floating bookshelves and large bookshelves in my room. Those are all full, so I also have them stacked all over the place. I have boxes full of them. It's a lot. And I definitely don't need to have that much. But I do. I have over 200 books that I have not read yet, which is really ridiculous when I talk about it. But I probably have over $1,000 worth of yarn just sitting in my basement waiting to be used, which is why I'm doing a lot of this kind of stuff, making bags and hats and easy stuff, because I want to use it, but I need something to do with it after I make it, which is where our next subject will kind of come in. But there are so many things that you can do with it, and I'll talk a little bit more about that when it's time. But do not feel pressured to have this huge yarn stash. A lot of the people that have it always have it behind them, so I feel like it's more of a prop than it is them actually showing off the yarn that they use. And they definitely use their yarn. I know that they do because they make things. But it always makes me feel like, since they are popular and they know what they're doing, that is what it should look like for somebody else. I don't have room for all that. I have all of my yarn organized into labeled clear bins, because if I have something, it has to be somewhat organized, even if it's a chaotic organization. So all of that is handled. I have everything organized and nice, just not right behind me, because I need somewhere to sleep. My bed needs to fit into my room. And with all of my other things, it's already a little bit difficult because I live in a small room. I still live with my parents. I am in my childhood bedroom. It's quite small. And my boyfriend also lives here, so I had to upgrade to slightly bigger furniture so that 2 people could fit instead of just me. So I'm not working with a whole lot of space. And sometimes it's a little disheartening because I want to be all cool and show off all my yarn. but I just don't have room for that. And realistically, most people do not have room for that. Not everybody has a craft room or a yarn room or something like that. Maybe one day I'll have that, but it's gonna be a while. So next I'll talk a little bit about when you have amassed a lot of projects that are finished and now you need to do something with them. Okay, so next we are going to talk about what the heck do you do with all this stuff? I'm not going to stand up and get it just because I don't want to get up, I'm lazy, but I have crocheted myself bags just to hold all of the other things that I have crocheted. And it's all just kind of chilling here. So, you know, in your mind, you think, oh, I have all of this stuff that I've made. I just really enjoy making stuff, and I can't keep all this stuff just kind of sitting around. So in your head, you think the logical thing to do would be to sell the things that you make. Now, I do have an Etsy shop for my crochet things, but I'm not, like, actively only making things to sell on Etsy. That's not what I do. I just kind of make whatever I'm in the mood to make, and if it's not something I want to keep, it goes on my Etsy. But it costs money to do things like that. To run a business, it costs money. So it's hard to keep up with that sometimes, especially for just a regular person. Like, this is not what I do full time. I have a 9-to-5. I work full time. I'm in school for my master's degree. Like, I'm a busy person. So I don't have time for that to be my only thing that I do. And I feel like it's just not realistic in general for regular people. But another issue is, if we are all making all the same stuff that's popular online, and we're all making a lot of it, and then we're all like, oh, we should sell it, there's not really going to be much of a market for that anymore, because everybody is making and selling it. So you could do craft fairs, yeah, but those also cost money. You have to rent your space. And I used to run a candle business. I did craft fairs. I know how expensive craft fairs are and how expensive they've gotten. There's also the issue of every time I go to one of these shows or craft fairs, I see at least 5 to 10 crochet booths at the same show. It is such a saturated market no matter what you do now. The people that sell 3D printed fidgets and things, guess what? There are going to be 5 3D printed booths. There's going to be like 5+ crochet booths, people making bottles, people selling shirts. Like, it's all being done by multiple people. And that makes it kind of difficult because you don't want to spend all that money just to lose money. So it can be hard to find something to do with all of it. But there are other things that you can do that's not spending more money just to get rid of it. You can donate a lot of crocheted things, hats, a lot of hospitals, women's hospitals, and like labor and delivery type hospitals. They love getting hats donated for babies in the NICU or children and adults that are going through cancer treatment. You could, if you love making hats, you can make hats to your heart's content and then take them and donate them to somewhere that really, really would love and appreciate them. You can gift them to people. Like, I am making a lot of the Christmas gifts that I'm giving out this year. And I think that adds something special to it. Like, everything that I am making, I am thinking of the person I am making it for the entire time that I make it. It really is made with love when you hand make it yourself. So consider gifting or donating the things that you make. That is a wonderful thing to do. Even if you make a bunch of hats and stuff and pass them out to, like, the homeless that are around you. I live near a big city, so there are a lot of homeless people near me. It's fall now. It's starting to be the cold months. I'm sure they would appreciate a nice hat or something like that. So think about the options when you're planning on what to do with all this crochet stuff. My next thing that I wanted to talk about is buying crochet things online. I obviously don't really buy a whole lot of crocheted things because I crochet myself. But there are times when I do buy crochet things from other people. I've been buying patterns lately instead of, like, actual physical things. But there is a mall in my area that once a year they do this event. I forget what they call it, but they have an entire portion of it sectioned out for child-run businesses. Most of the time they aren't like an actual like business or anything, but it is something that these kids were passionate about, and they worked on it and made a table for it. So when I see like very young crocheters, I will buy even something little from them just because it's good to encourage the younger generations to do that kind of stuff too. It may at one point be a dying art, hopefully not anytime soon, but it could one day be. I've seen kids do something like a science fair project where a good example was monarch butterflies and how there are not many of them left. So this girl made this whole giant poster talking about monarch butterflies and how good they are for the environment and what you can do. And she was selling little plants of the only plant that monarch butterflies eat. So that was adorable. But I like to support that kind of thing. A lot of people that make things and like donate a portion of it to a charity, I love that. That is something that if I was actually seriously selling my items, I would want to do something like that. I would want to donate a portion to a charity. Trying to think of what else I could say about buying stuff. Now, pricing of crocheted goods is a wild thing because it does take a lot of time to hand make these things. Yarn is expensive, so a lot of people price their crochet items on the higher end. I tend to not do that only because I'm doing it for fun, not to make a living. But if you want to try to do that as your full-time thing, it's a very competitive market, so you have to kind of be ready for that. What else? I don't think there is anything else. I think that's pretty much all I've come up with today. But if you think of anything along the lines of this, please comment. I love hearing what other people think of things. My opinion is not the only opinion in the world to me. But in summary, it's a rough world to be in, but I think we all just need to do what makes us happy. Do what you love doing for you and for nobody else. See you next week.